I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're halfway through another sketchbook. Hello, my name is Veronica, aka Vespertilio. I am an Italian comic book author, tarot and oracle deck creator, and your spooky art teacher.
It's me again, yours truly.
And welcome to yet another halfway through sketchbook tour. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was only last December that we did the second half of my previous sketchbook, and now we're at the beginning of February and we're already halfway through my new sketchbook. Now, I believe it's worth mentioning that I am currently doing the drawing a day till I reach 100k challenge, even though I'm actually skipping a lot of days. I caught the flu at the beginning of this year, and then to avoid burnout, I'm actually allowing myself to take a few breaks every once in a while. But despite all of that, yeah, we're halfway through. So today we're going to explore the first half of this sketchbook. As usual, I'll walk you through every single page, talking about the inspiration behind each piece. If you haven't watched this update video, I think it's also worth mentioning that in this sketchbook, I'm exclusively working directly ink on paper, so no pencil sketch first. And I'm doing this to allow myself to be imperfect and play with my mistakes, which is the number one thing I advocate on this channel. And with all of that said, I think we can start this halfway through sketchbook tour. So, this is the pen that I use for all of my drawings. It is a Preppy Platinum fountain pen EF02. When I have to fill larger surfaces, I actually use either the Ohu Fine Liner Drawing Pen 05 or the 07. With that said, so this sketchbook is not actually a sketchbook, it is a moleskin notebook. The pages are actually very thin. It has a soft cover. While in my art collection sketchbooks, I used to draw also on these two pages. I wanted to include something cute in this first page. Here I have printed my little Ex Libris logo, and then a quote or an affirmation: embrace my ambition and trust my intuition. So this is the same illustration placed on the cover of this sketchbook. There's an art process about this on this channel. I really like the design of this book. If I didn't make a specific mistake, this design would have never existed. So go check that out. I decided to start the sketchbook with W, which is my witch character. Of course, I had to integrate Vespertilio somehow. Here's a little expect magic affirmation. So this was a time where I still was struggling a little with what I wanted to do. It wasn't really a matter of inspiration or ideas. I was questioning my goals and my aspirations. I came up with run towards it. And then I thought, that doesn't sound right. Run for it. And I did this little W running, so that's it. Here I just wanted to fill a page. A girl on Instagram recently asked me for advice for learning to fill pages with characters and background, etc. The truth is that the only advice I can give, which is actually the one I always give, is just do it, just start, just practice. I don't really like this page. I think it is quite messy. The perspective of some of the tombstones is very messed up, but in the end, I don't really like this page, but at the same time, I'm really glad I did this page. This is from the same time, and I was actually trying to find the spark in myself, the fire in myself, the fire of passion. I just did another W, and then I made it with this sort of fire fairy in her hand. If I look at it live, something feels off, but I have to be honest, in camera, this looks pretty cute. This is another messy one. I'm not really happy with how I did this statue. I like that I let myself play with hatching with this piece. I'm sorry for my hands, by the way. At the same time, I'm not really satisfied with this one. I've been asked this several times how I get my ideas. Most of the time, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just minding my business, going through my day, and at some point an image pops in my mind, and what I do is I try to recreate that image as close as possibly on paper. I don't succeed most of the time, and even when I succeed, it is always different from what I'm picturing in my mind, and that's what I did with this one. Yeah, I think this was maybe just the start of December, and I wanted to do something related to Christmas and that time of the year. We might think that the time where the veil between our world and the world beyond is thinner during autumn and Halloween. Actually, the veil is pretty thin also during Christmas time. In fact, there are a lot of ghost stories told around Christmas. The most famous one is, of course, A Christmas Carol. I started this with zero expectations. It is this Christmas tree with this kind of star fairy here at the top. Then, of course, there's Vespertilio. There's W dancing with her shadows. That doesn't mean the bad side of yourself or the evil side of yourself, just that hidden part that maybe you don't want to face. I didn't really picture this in my mind. I just started and that is it. But I really like this one. I think this is really cute. I also like these little bats helping her with her hair. I really like this one. For this page in particular, I was feeling not very well. If you try to look for journaling prompts, you might find brain dump, which is basically writing on paper all sorts of things that go through your brain just to clear your mind of all of that junk. Let's just put everything on paper. And so I started drawing a bunch of things. At that time, I had a collage I made on Pinterest that was my desktop. So a bunch of things were inspired by the things that were in that collage. In the end, I thought, this isn't a brain dump. It's actually coming together pretty nicely. And so I thought, maybe this is a brain cake made of various ingredients. And in the end, the taste is not so bad. One of the very last things I did in this page was this little book holder with this recipe for a brain cake. And in the end, I was left with this empty space. And I just asked myself, do you feel better? And the answer was, I do. And it also has a little smile. I pictured this in my mind and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do it. It's cute on camera. Do I like it? I don't hate it. I'm proud of every single page. I have to be honest. I'm proud of this one and the previous one and the previous one, etc. I'm proud of all of these pages. But being proud and liking it are kind of different things for me. Again, I'm extremely proud of this one. I like it, but not completely. I really like this part. I really love the hatching on this one. But yeah, there is something slightly off for me. But I love this page. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I think you got me. Cute. Nothing to say. I improvised with this one. It was around Christmas, so I had to add a little snail. If you know, you know. I don't think I pictured this in my mind. I just went for it and yeah, cute one. This was one of the very few artist solo dates I did. Little fun fact, I stopped the artist way. The first time I did the artist way, I went all the way through it and I never skipped a single morning for the morning pages. This second time though, maybe it wasn't the right time for me. So I stopped and I did so few artist dates. It was like 2. This time I was actually at a cafe in the restaurant and I was dining outside because it wasn't a particularly chilly day. And so I copied this decorative chair with a bunch of stuff on it, and I pictured Vespertilio just hanging there. So this is really cute. I improvised this. I think I pictured only this part, but then since I did this so small, I had to figure out what to do with the rest of the page. I really like how this turned out. Vespertilio and their love interest, Mr. Mietitore, which means reaper in Italian basically. I love this one, Your Honor. It is W making a little spell and accidentally summoning Vespertilio. Here's her flying magic book, open to the page of her spell. Love this one. I think this is one of my favorites. I think I pictured this in my mind, but I think it came out actually even better. It is Vespertilio. I'm not sure if she's holding Mietitore's head or just a skull, a random skull, and she's laying on top of basically tombstone. It's not really a coffin because I imagine this made of stone, basically. Maybe a stone coffin, I don't know, with all of these decorations. And I really like that I did all of these decorations asymmetrical. This is the one for the winter solstice. I really like all of this situation right here. I don't like the shadow on his eyes and nose because when I did this part of the drawing, I still didn't know I would put this shiny star in his hand. And so I was just considering the light coming from his headpiece, and that's why I did the shadow like this. While if I had considered this much brighter light right here, the shadows would have been different. But anyways, this is not that bad, of course. I'm actually really proud of this page. All of these, I think, were done with one of these pens. I think there's something off, but yeah, I'm proud of this. On the other end, I'm proud of every single page, I told you, but this was done very quickly and I just wanted to do my daily sketch in this sketchbook, and so I did this thing. It doesn't really have nothing special, if I have to be honest. I just did it. I don't have much to say about this. Same thing. I like this a little better because the composition works a bit better. There's like a triangle here and a diagonal and stuff like that. I don't plan this stuff, by the way. I just notice that it is there once I'm done. But most of the time I don't plan it, or if I plan it, it is when I'm already progressing with the drawing, and then I decide to add certain things in certain placements in a diagonal, stuff like that, especially in these little sketches with nothing much going around them. I don't plan my compositions, I have to be honest. Oh my god, in every single one of my videos pretty recently after Christmas, you might have noticed a beautiful candelabra, and I think I showed this to you in the previous sketchbook tour. This is W holding the candelabra, and for this piece in particular, I used a picture I took of myself as reference. I love this. I swear the concept for this one, in my mind, was insane. I thought, oh my god, this is going to be my masterpiece. On paper, the number one mistake I did was putting that much shadows and hatching on the ribbons, basically. This is another thing that I believe I did just to be done with the daily drawing for the challenge. You see where I'm going here? It's building something. It's building something, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. This is another piece that started as something pictured in my mind of this tombstone with roots growing on it, and of course I had to add my girl Vespertilio. I don't remember if in my mind the tree was present or if I figured those roots were going to be attached to something while I was drawing. When I drew Vespertilio, the most challenging thing is always coming up with something to do with their arms and with their wings, of course. I then tried to make her interact with this little pet. I really like how this turned out. I love this. It has a lot of things that I don't like, and yet I love it. Yeah, this is one of those where I planned the composition as I was going, because I started with this idea of drawing them both leaning towards each other. This wasn't planned, and the trees weren't planned. I decided to put this little tombstone so that she could lay on it, and then it looked kind of empty, and so since they were creating this sort of triangle pointing upwards, I decided to incorporate triangle pointing downwards, and so I made these two trees crossing each other. Basically, it created this lovely frame. I love this one. Okay, this is a cute one. It was pretty fast, but I love this. It is so cute with Meditore holding her head like this. Oh, they are so cute here. Ooh, and now the big one. So I was really into these two at that point, but I was kind of pissed that they couldn't kiss. I'm starting from this bottom one because I actually started from this one. My initial idea started right here. Now I have hidden what was there, but my initial idea was to do this. I did some kind of mistake. I don't really remember what stroke destroyed what I was doing. I believe the real problem was that I started really, really small, and that wasn't the vibe I wanted to get, because my initial idea was to have several panels, but then I had to figure out how to fix this basically, and I love how this turned out. It is vintage looking. It looks like the sketchbook of a 1800s artist, basically. Love how this page turned out. And then I actually also did what I wanted to do. I added this little quote: I like to think they use roses to kiss. He's a skeleton, of course. I imagine he would hold a rose with his teeth, and that then she could kiss that rose and feel the softness Oh, I really, really, really love this spread. I think this might be my favorite thing in this sketchbook for now. A quick one that I did. What day was that? Yeah, I think this was New Year's Eve. I wanted it to be quick because it was New Year's Eve basically, and we had to go out for the New Year's Eve party basically. And so I wanted to do something, but it had to be quick. I made this a broken mirror, and through the various pieces, it is a mix of Vespertilio and Mietitore. And this is the first thing I did in 2025. Fan fact, I caught the flu on New Year's Eve at the party. On the 2nd of January, I got my first dashes of fever, let's say. The highest fever I had was actually then on the 4th of January. It was so bad, guys. I was actually already feverish right here, but it was still a low fever. I think I was listening to the audiobook of Jane Eyre at this point. She's actually a really, really skilled artist in the book. I didn't know that. I wanted to basically draw the two things I like to draw about nature, so the waves and trees. And so I decided to draw this giant tree as driftwood, basically, with these stormy waves around it. And then, of course, there is Vespertilio above everything with a bunch of friendly bats. You can find the art process for this. And fun fact, this tree branch right here was initially the wing of Vespertilio, but then I realized that with the skin of the wing, it would have covered her entire body. And so I turned it into a tree branch, and with that I started building this huge tree, and I really love how this turned out. This was a fun one because I wanted to draw a little candle holder. I actually came up with the design myself. I'm pretty sure something like this exists, by the way. But then I thought, I don't want to just have a flame, I want to do something different. A few times I've read the flame of a candle or something like that being described as a red flower, as the red flower, and so I tried representing that. Here's a mistake, as you can see. I did this extra finger basically, but I completely ignore it, of course. This is all thanks to a mistake. I had just acquired new spoons, and so I wanted to draw Vespertilio sitting in this spoon. But when I started it, I actually messed up the spoon completely. So in order to cover everything up, I had to be kind of heavy with etching, and then I had to incorporate a bunch of things to cover a bunch of strokes. I again came up with my good friends trees, and this came out amazing. This is another of my favorite pages for now. This was a surprise. I hadn't planned to draw this at all, but I'm glad I did. I have mixed feelings about this because, again, I started thinking about these, but then I think the main problem was that I did her arms holding his head like this, and so I realized it would have looked weird to have also the rest of his body basically, and so I kept it just as a skull. I also don't really like the shape of the hair. I like this, but I don't love it. This is another example of just fill the page. I just wanted to fill the page. I was once again listening to Jane Eyre. I just wanted to draw a bunch of tombstones in the wild, basically. I decided to incorporate this fallen tree, which can be a natural tombstone if you think about it. Wow. Poetry. And then, of course, I had to add Vespertilio. It's not bad. I really like how I designed this particular tombstone, but there's something that doesn't really hit it for me. Cute. I like it. Not my best one. Love this book and this book right here. I really like this one. Here, I was listening to Jane Eyre and I remember exactly where we were. Yes, this was seconds before disaster. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to place this pen right here while I talk about spoilers, and then I'm going to put it back here when I'm done. So, you can mute it and you'll see when I'm done. So basically, in Jane Eyre, there is this whole initial part where she's little and she goes to school and she meets this slightly older girl. Like Jane Eyre is 10 and this girl is 13, 14, and they develop a beautiful friendship. And also the headmistress of this school is a lovely woman, a really kind-hearted woman, until her friend dies. I don't want to go into detail with that, but it is a miracle that this isn't destroyed by my tears. I cried so bad. I was listening to the audiobook and I started weeping. I love that book. And yeah, I wanted to draw Vespertilio in front of a mirror. I had seen a similar kind of Liberty style mirror on Pinterest, and so I decided to give it a try. I used a reference for the mirror, but then I came up with my own design and I changed a bunch of things. I like this one, really lovely one, and it is also linked to that part of the book. So yeah. Oh yes, of course, I did this in Milan. I just remembered. We went to Milan for the promotional tour of the book I illustrated last year. I had to do a quick drawing for the challenge, and so I was inspired by this rose in front of me, and I added Vespertilio, of course. This was another really quick one, so I started drawing Vespertilio, and then I didn't really know what to do with the rest of the page, and I imagined her sitting on top of something, and I actually thought, why not? It might be a deck of cards, and so I did this little deck of cards, and the Ace of Hearts has popped out. I love this one. So yeah, Vespertilio and Mietitore, I don't remember if I had it pictured in my mind, if I have to be honest. Ooh, I dreamed of a tiger. I really did. And that's why I did this drawing. Oh my god, it was such a weird dream. How I interpreted that dream. So the conclusion, in short, was that I shouldn't expect someone else to protect me, but I should protect myself. And in order to do that, I should let the tiger inside of me eat the frightened version of me. And so I made this drawing. Moving on. This is pretty recent because it is from the last time I had my hair done, and I made this cute short video where I show you that I've been drawing this at the hair salon. I really didn't have much time to do this because they were doing my hair, and it was also pretty hard to draw while they were doing my hair. I kind of did something simple. It is really cute. I really love how she turned out, even though she's so tiny. I did this in a hotel in Rome when we went to another signing session for the promotional tour of the book I illustrated. The next morning we went to get breakfast, and the dining room of this hotel was so insanely beautiful. It looked like an antique ship with all sorts of mermaid, merfolk decorations. So it was insanely beautiful, and my eye got caught by these lamps with these wooden mermaids, and so I did copy those, and then of course I added Vespertilio because I have to. I want to address this. I posted this short video about this page, and someone commented, "It is so cute, but the meaning is so sad." What meaning? I generally ask myself, what meaning? I mean, of course, this is very cute and you can find the meaning in this, but a so sad meaning? I don't think this is sad. These are boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're just hanging together, and he doesn't have ears, so he can't put the flower behind his ear. He had to put it somewhere else. I swear it's not that deep. But yeah, really like this one. This was a cute one, and here I was listening. Ooh, another great book. I'm trying to get back to reading, and I already have gone through 4 books by now, of which 2 I listened as audiobooks, even though with Jane Eyre, since it was a quite long book, I actually had a physical copy that I would read before going to sleep, basically. And all the final part of Jane Eyre, I actually read it instead of listening to it. And right after Jane Eyre, I started this other audiobook of this book called Woman Eating by Claire Coda. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. It is a modern vampire story. Loved it, and I was listening to it while doing this one. And here we are. So, literally, not even a week ago, I noticed I didn't want to draw. It was like days, maybe even weeks, that I felt like I didn't want to draw, that it was, oh my god, it is such a task. I have to draw because I have to film those videos and I have to post these videos. But then, not even a week ago, I was like, I don't want to draw. And then I realized I don't want to draw. That is bad. That is such a red flag. And so I took a break. 3 days. I actually posted a short video about that, but the second I decided and communicated to you all that I was taking a break, I felt so relieved that I did this. The second I gave myself permission to rest and take a step back, I did a step forward. During our last signing session, a lovely girl gifted me this incredibly cute pencil holder. It is so cute, and you can actually have it standing basically. And she gifted me a matching pen with pink ink. Of course, I have to use it for drawings, of course. And so I did this one. I adore this page. The second I finished it, I thought, this is so bad. I went looking at it in the mirror, and I immediately was like, what is wrong with me? This is glorious. So I really love this one. I used a reference picture as inspiration for this part right here. It was actually a skull with angel wings, but I of course turned it into bat wings. And then I used a reference for this Gothic architecture because I was a little confused about that. Then I had to add my character. I love that in order to cover up the pink, I had to go very heavy on the black ink because it turned out so good. The contrast is amazing and I love this one. The very next day I tried again. This time I thought I'm going to try use the pink for the closer layer. So if I have to be honest, I still prefer this one. I think it is more harmonious, let's say. But I don't mind this one. I think it would have been best if I didn't touch the background with the pink, or maybe the best thing to do was to do these closer trees like I usually do them, like this basically, and then do these background trees deep black. It is still really cool. I love this first part. As usual, I would use the reference picture more as inspiration than reference, if I have to be honest. This is the second piece I did with the pink ink, and then this is the final one. It was a very quick drawing. I'm trying to get back to my morning routine and I'm trying to squeeze everything so that I can do all the things I want to do before the things I have to do. And I gave myself 30 minutes tops for this drawing. When I was done with the line art, so no hatching was added, this pink part wasn't even sketched, it was just a frame. I looked at my phone to see how much time was left and I realized it took me just 5 minutes. That was really quick, so I spent the remaining 25 minutes just doing the hatching basically and drawing and adding hatching with the pink pen for this background window, let's say. And yeah, with that we're halfway through this sketchbook. Those are the remaining pages. And that brings us to the end of this first half. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was interesting and fun to watch. If you're curious about what I'm going to do next, you can follow me on my social platforms where I post my sketchbook pages almost every single day, mixing both art reveals and art process videos. And you also find them right here on YouTube Shorts. Please let me know if you like this format and if you'd like to see more videos like this one. And as usual, if you have any other suggestion or requests for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed spending these few minutes with me and would like to help my channel grow, you can simply do it by hitting the subscribe button and liking this video. And if you'd like to support my art and content, remember my very first tarot deck, Vespertaro, is now available for purchase and you can get it at the link in my description. I need to tell you something about my deck. Of the 4,000 limited edition copies, of Vespertaro, only 500 are left worldwide. So if you'd like to get a copy of this limited edition of my tarot deck Vespertaro, yeah, you should. The reason why it's just 500 copies left is because of you, because you're supporting my art, my work, and my content. So thank you. I got news for the newsletter. So I might be able to get some free time in the next future, and with that I really hope I'll be able to fully get back to the newsletter. But in the meantime, if you'd like to get access to my digitalized sketchbook and check all their posts, you can do it by checking the link in my description. If you stayed till this point, thank you very much. I will see you very soon with more art videos. In the meantime, let's make art. Bye!